Tampa Bay Lightning win their 10th straight game, but it might have come at a massive cost. What we know about Brayden Point's ugly-looking injury coming up today on Locked on Lightning.
You're Locked on Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked on Lightning your first listen of the day. Every single day, we are your free daily Tampa Bay Lightning podcast, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we want to begin with a shout out to our everydayers. Those of you who tune into every single show, every single day, we love you. Appreciate the support you give us week in, week out. I'm Nick Morgan, and I am joined by the Cheech to my Chong, Greg Steven. Greg, welcome in, my friend.
Good morning. Good morning. Another win. Gotta love it. 10 in a row.
10 in a row for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Latest coming last night. 5-1 win over the Philadelphia Flyers. And if we don't seem super jovial, well, it's because of what happened in the second period. Brayden Point, ugly looking injury in that game, rolled up on, basically could not go to the locker room under his own power. More on that injury coming up later, plus everything that we have to talk about from the game last night, including another epic point streak night for Nikita Kucherov and some shenanigans at the end of the game from both teams. A lot to get into. Let's start, as we always do, with a little bit of a too long didn't read recap for those of you who weren't able to see last night's game. Bolts getting it started right off the bat, mad scramble in front of the net, and then you have Pontus Holmberg finding the puck, putting the puck past Stan Vladar to make it 1-0. Greg, that third line for the Lightning has been absolutely cooking lately.
Oh, man. I think Yanni Gourde has been playing at an elite level lately. Like, honestly, this whole season. But, yeah, as of late, incredible player.
Yeah, they found something special about that Holmberg-Yanni Gourde combination there too on that second line. And
even Gergensen
and Gergensen's playing some great minutes there as well.
Right.
All things considered, pretty evenly matched first period for both teams. Some good chances both ways. Second period, though, Greg, I thought is where the Bolts broke it wide open. First,
Absolutely.
You have Jake Gensel getting a deflection off of Eric Chernak's shot, makes it 2-0. Gensel's 20th goal of the season, but then here comes the moment that I think the energy of the fan base is kind of a little bit drained today. Not necessarily as jovial. Brayden Point on the power play gets a shot past Vladar for a 3-0 Lightning lead. But after the shot, Cam Yord falls into Point, kind of rolls up on the side of his leg. You see Point throw the gloves, call for help immediately, down for a bit, gets up off the ice, cannot put any pressure on that leg as he's taken off to the locker room. Obviously did not come back. It didn't look great, Greg.
No, and we'll dive into this further in a little bit, but definitely not an injury that you want to see happen to one of your key guys, and I feel partially responsible after rambling about how great he's been lately.
Yeah. Jon Cooper did talk briefly about it after the game. We'll say what he said, and then other update on his health there as well. Back to the game itself, Flyers go on to score a few minutes later, make it 3-1. Brandon Hagel on the power play right before the end of the second period, however, makes it 4-0. Continues a little bit of a power play hot streak in this game. The power play is looking a little bit better here. Third period, if you like fights and scrums, you would have absolutely loved this third period. If you like watching exciting gameplay and finesse, not so much. But I will say Nikita Kucherov did score an empty netter to extend his multi-game point streak to 9 games. Not a point streak, a multi-point point streak.
Right. Yeah. He's been on fire.
Man is absolutely on fire right now. More on his hot streak coming up later in the game. But 5-1 win for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Greg. And honestly, other than the injury, a lot to love about this game if you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan.
Yeah, 100%. I think the only real complaint you could maybe have is faceoffs. And outside of that, incredible. I mean, if you look at those stats you just had up, only 9 giveaways. something
Yeah.
that's a great accomplishment. I think the Flyers had 19, so absolutely smoked them in giveaway department. And the Bolts were also out hit in this game, but I think that a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that the Flyers are probably pretty frustrated after getting, kind of routed twice by the same team. And that's what happens in hockey, man. I mean, sometimes you face a team that you can't take them down. I think that's the Islanders for the Lightning, So the Lightning are unfortunately that for the Flyers.
Yeah, half of those hits might have been in the first 10 minutes of the period, let's be honest, because that seems to be where everything sort of broke loose there. And a little bit of a spoiler alert for plus minus, Greg. A lot, as we mentioned, a lot that went right for the Lightning in this game. What's one plus that you want to highlight? One good.
My plus is JoJo. I think, and I think it's specifically in the middle of the second period. They had so many opportunities to score, and JoJo made some great saves. He had one where he made an incredible save, and there was a quick rebound right in front. He just slid right over, closed the door. I think he played an elite game, and I've been on the JoJo train my whole life, man. I think he keeps doing it. He keeps doing it, and one goal allowed, he popped off. I think JoJo deserves a little bit of a round of applause.
There you go. I'll do that because I was also very critical of him earlier in the season, or honestly before the season. I was like, if anything happens, I don't know if JoJo's the guy to carry this team. And I think he's played consistently well. And it's been a very, very, very long time since I haven't had, that sort of game confidence in JoJo. At the very least, his stats in the NHL, or at least this season, right at average. Like I would say right at around league average. And that's what you need for a backup goaltender is just somebody to go out there and hold the fort down. And, as long as Vasilevsky stays healthy, I'm happy with how JoJo has been this year. And I will walk back what I said, Greg, earlier this season just for you.
Perfect.
Now all you need is for me to walk back the Macklin Celebrini take, and I think you'll
we're getting there.
No, he's looking really good. I will say that. Greg, I'm going to use my plus to highlight Jon Cooper. Win number 600 last night, big milestone in his career. Here's a wild stat, Greg.
Okay.
Second fastest coach in the NHL to ever reach 600 career wins. He did it in 1,005 career games, just 3 games slower than Hall of Fame multi-time Stanley Cup winning head coach Scotty Bowman did it.
Wow.
Again, I ask you, how has this guy never won a Jack Adams? And also, how is this guy still in 6th place for Jack Adams voting this year? I went off on that last week. You weren't here. I'm curious, your take. Why is Jon Cooper not getting recognition?
It's a great question. I think a lot of it is just the fact that the roster is so talented, and maybe people kind of overlook the fact that they think the Lightning should be good regardless of who the coach is. Maybe that's part of it. But I'm with you, man. I think he absolutely deserves one, and I'm shocked he has not had one ever. And that's an incredible accomplishment, especially to only be 3 games shy of the fastest. That's insane. I think he deserves a round of applause too. But 600 wins is a crazy accomplishment in the NHL as a coach. And he's been around. He's been a Bolt for what?
Was it 20? I believe it was 2014 was when because he was just the guy that replaced.
Right. I was going to guess 13 years, but I think it's somewhere around there. But that is remarkable to last 13 years straight in the NHL. I mean, that just speaks to how amazing he is, right? I mean, they don't want to get rid of him. No one ever does. Why would you? I mean, he's one of the best ever, maybe the best eventually.
Incredible resume for him. And I'm with you. I just hope voters don't punish him for taking a good team and making them a good team, Right. Because I do think you have to look and see the coaching job he's done. And like this year, like I said in the show last week, there's a lot of nuance with how you have to look at his coaching job this year. I think it's the best one he's ever had, especially early this season.
I mean, with the injuries, like we've talked about so many times, just how he navigated all that and still built a successful team. I mean, and a winning record. So I'm with you.
Yeah. You mentioned, but before we go on to the biggest minus of the game, which is Brayden Point, and we're going to talk about that coming up in a little bit. The only other big minus I had was just faceoffs again. Really bad one-sided game, I thought. And again, it didn't, just like the Colorado game last week, it didn't cost the Lightning at all. Right. And it's weird because you look at the record and it hasn't really cost them this season. But I do think later in the season against some of these tough teams, you're going to want somebody who can win you a key faceoff. And I know it hasn't burned him yet. It hasn't burned them yet in any of these games. But I do think that is something that I think the Lightning need to seriously look at, is just how to fix this faceoff problem. Because I do think they're playing with fire a little bit, especially when we head into some of these close games at the end of the season in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're actually, I think, in one of the pre-games, I want to say the first Flyers game of this set, Patrick Maroon on the broadcast was talking about how the Lightning actually have a better record when they have less than 40% success rate on the dot, which is I thought was hilarious. And he made a joke about how I hope they botch all their draws this game because they're going to win.
Okay, well, that's not helping. My face-offs are very important. The Lightning need to do a better job with it. But
it's super funny though. A very interesting stat to think about.
Yeah, it seems anti. What am I thinking of? Anti-intuitive, I don't know, but whatever it is, it seems like it's the opposite of what it should be. It is like it's 7 a.m. and I'm not thinking of words right now. Obviously, the big storyline from this game, Brayden Point. We know that injury did not look good. What did Jon Cooper say about it after the game? And what do we know now? And if he is out, how do the Lightning replace him? Because he and Kucherov were absolutely cooking on the top of that first line. More on that coming up in just 1 second. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. We are right in the thick of the NFL playoffs, and FanDuel is in playoff mode. Every game during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more of a way to get in on the action. That's because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. That's right. Each day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to the bets you like the most. All you have to do is open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boost you want to apply. The boost lets you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or coaching. The boosts give you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. Every play feels bigger, and the boosts make your bets feel that way too. You make the picks and then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. You can visit FanDuel.com on your desktop or browser, or just download the FanDuel app. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We're back on Locked on Lightning. Nick Morgan here alongside Greg Stephen. And Greg, we have to talk about the Brayden Point situation. Obviously, second period last night, scores a goal, rolled up on during his follow-through or maybe right after the shot, went down right away, gloves in the air, holding his leg, called for help, could not put any pressure on his leg as he's skating off. I will let you, I'm going to preface it like this. Like we're not going to speculate anything like that, but you did have a similar injury in your own hockey career that this sort of reminded you of. Yeah.
I'll preface it by saying I've torn my ACL 6 times, and
tear your ACL 6 times.
I tore it in both knees. And the very first time I did it, it looked very similar to this injury. And again, not saying he tore his ACL by any means, but let me tell you, it looks just like it. And as soon as I saw it, I kind of was like, ugh, I could feel it. I could feel that exact pain. I know exactly what that's like. And Unfortunately for me, that does look like a leg tear, and that's probably something you don't see him back for another 9 to 12 months, and pretty unfortunate for the Lightning. And I hope that I'm wrong. I don't want to be correct about that, but when someone falls on your leg like that and it's like a sideways to it. I mean, you could even see Cooch when he's helping Point off the ice. He looks up at the jumbotron and he kind of goes like, "Ooh,"
Yeah.
I think even Cooch knew. He was like, "That's looking like a ligament tear." And unfortunately, those are tough to come back from. I mean, look, it ruined my whole or not NHL. I wish
It did.
Yeah,
It did ruin your NHL career. Yes.
it did. Well, it did kind of. It ruined my whole hockey career, unfortunately. But Point's a strong guy. He's dealt with this kind of stuff, and I'm wishing him the best. But unfortunately, I do wholeheartedly believe, after working in orthopedics for 4 years and tearing my own ACL, that is something to look out for. I think it's going to be go get an MRI and see what's going on in there. And look, best case scenario, I think, is like a dislocation, and you kind of come back in a few weeks. But I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were a fan.
Yeah, and also to be clear, it's not just you speculating that. I don't remember if I was watching the Lightning broadcast or the Flyers broadcast, but whatever color commentator I was listening to said same thing. Like, hate to speculate, that looked like a ligament tear. I've seen those, and if it is Greg, that's not good.
No.
Because Brayden Point has absolutely been cooking. We talked about this a little bit the other day. I think the biggest thing for the Lightning's hot streak, and one of the biggest reasons that they've become an absolute wagon right now, is because Brayden Point has turned his season around. A little bit slow to start the year. He finally started catching fire, especially when he came back from his first injury. And I would honestly argue one of the reasons Nikita Kucherov has absolutely been on fire lately is because he's had Brayden Point there for support on that top line. And now if Brayden Point, if what everybody's saying is true and he's out for, you would assume, the rest of the season, rest of the regular season at least, it sort of makes you reevaluate your entire top of the lineup there, because now you've had all this good chemistry and now you kind of have to tweak things again.
Yeah. I mean, look, not good. And I think you're absolutely right. He's a big reason why, 1, the Bolts are cooking, 2, Cooch has been cooking. And 3, something that I don't think we've said yet, is he's a big reason the power play cooks too.
Yeah.
And it's looked so good lately. And to have him taken off that power play is probably not ideal. And how do you fix it? I don't know. I think, look, how about Jon Cooper? He knows.
Yeah.
We know he knows. And I have full faith that he'll figure it out. But that being said, what do I do if I'm him? I have no idea at this point, because do I really want to disrupt the second line chemistry either? Like,
well,
I don't think so.
That's just it. Is all this chemistry that the Lightning have had, it's been because they've finally gotten a little bit of consistency with the lines.
Yeah.
And like you said, that second line right now, with Anthony Cirelli between Jake Gensel and Brandon Hagel, that line has absolutely worked. And then, you go back to, we talked about it. We talked about it at the start of this show. We talked about it last week. That third line with, Yanni Gord, Pontus Holmberg, Zemgus Girgensons, that line has been on fire too. So you might have to, I get it, but it's also a situation. It's like, you don't want to shake up anything in the midst of this big hot streak.
Yeah, I know. It's really unfortunate. It really, truly is. And I don't even know who you put up there. I don't even know who you slot in that top line. I truly don't think I mess with the second or third line yet. I think I toss someone else up there and see if it can just jive. And if it doesn't, then you kind of make another move. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he just initially swaps them all up. I have no idea how they're going to handle it. But I know that Brayden Point is not replaceable. I do know that.
I have a take for what I would do.
Okay.
Maybe not immediately, but maybe as we get closer to the trade deadline.
Oh.
I might hold it. I might hold this take.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Teaser.
maybe tease it for another show. I will say that Jon Cooper last night was asked about Brayden Point, and he kind of shook his head and said, "You guys all saw what we saw." Did say Brayden Point is still going to be with the team as they finish their road trip against the Penguins coming up.
Mhm.
He said, obviously, we'll find out more tomorrow, day after next, but he hasn't been sent home to Tampa yet, so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna do this whole thing, and Brayden Point's gonna play on
Right.
tomorrow.
I hope so.
against the
I
Penguins,
wish
so.
I'm wrong. I want to be wrong so badly.
Yeah, but obviously we'll keep monitoring that situation, and whatever the update is, keep it right here on Locked On Lightning, and we will have instant reaction, all that good stuff to what happens to Point. It's not all doom and gloom for the Lightning right now. Brayden Point's partner Nikita Kucherov, epic hot streak right now, 9th straight multi-point game. Again, not 9-game point streak. 9 straight games with 2 or more points for Nikita Kucherov. His stats are on fire. More on his performance and more takeaways from last night's game coming up in just 1 second when we come back. Today's episode is brought to you by Quo. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think, there's got to be a better way. And lucky enough, there is. Streamlining communications is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. And that's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O. It's the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number so nothing ever gets missed. Everybody in your team can also see full conversation threads, which makes replies faster and more personal. It also works right from your phone or computer, and you can keep using your existing number. Plus, Quo's smart AI tools automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps, so nothing ever slips through the cracks. It's no surprise Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses from solo operations to growing teams. So make this year the year where no opportunity or customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnhl. Again, that's quo.com/lockedonnhl. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. We're back on Locked On Lightning. Nick Morgan here alongside Greg Stephen. And Greg, let's get to something that's not doom and gloom, and that's Nikita Kucherov. 2 goal and assist last night for a 2-point game. 9th consecutive game with 2 or more points for Nikita Kucherov. He scored a goal, not a goal, but a point in every game since December 15th for the Tampa Bay Lightning. At least a point in every game. And of course, that includes the 9-game point streak. It feels like at this point, every show we do is just plugging Nikita Kucherov somewhere in the lineup and talking about how good he is. But really, this is insane.
Yeah. I mean, if you just watch the NHL points leaders board, he's just kind of going ding, 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 ding. He's about to pass Celebrini at this point, and he'll lock into 3rd if he hasn't already. I think he's just shy. But yeah, I mean, remarkable guy, as we already know, and feels like I'm just beating it to death. But Nikita Kucherov, man, he's the reason. Like this, you don't go on a 10-game win streak without this guy. You don't put up 5 goals in what I think it's 4 of the last 5 now, and without this guy. And I think Brayden Point is a big part of that, but I also think Kucherov can do this entirely on his own. I think he's just in a groove. I think he looks sharp. He's been making some crazy passes lately. Some that I'm like, I didn't realize he was this insane, but I did. And he's a big reason the power play has been so good too. I think that's overlooked a lot. I mean, the power play has looked much better in the last several weeks, and we were ripping the power play apart for a while earlier in the season. And now it just looks, it looks so much better. I think it looks leagues better, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think he's a big part of that.
Yeah. Assists on the Brandon Hagel power play goal last night. And of course had the empty netter at the end of the game too. So it's very interesting to talk about Nikita Kucherov and the season he's had, because as he climbs that scoreboard and the hotter the Lightning are, especially with these injuries going on, but I do remember one of the topics that we discussed the first time we took over the show. It was, why doesn't Nikita Kucherov get more Hart Trophy consideration? He's having a Hart Trophy year right now.
Yeah.
I would say it's not just the way he's scoring, but I think it's the way that the team is going with him. You know, the Lightning are a wagon because Nikita Kucherov is absolutely on fire right now. I mean, and it's not just him. There's players all up and down the lineup that are absolutely killing it. But I've always seen, like, as Nikita Kucherov goes, when he is Nikita Kucherov, that's when the Lightning seem to be their most Tampa Bay Lightning-ish. And I think you're seeing it this year. And I think that's going to be a big key if there are, any sort of long-term concerns with Brayden Point for the rest of the year.
Yeah. And you know what else? I think this is one of his more impressive seasons. And the reason I say that is because of how many injuries the Lightning have had. And now you toss in Brayden Point into this mix, and it's like he can do it anyway. And I think that's impressive. Think about how many different line combinations they've shuffled this season. I mean, and to stay this hot and have the amount of points and consistency that he still had, it's just more impressive. McDavid gets to play with Draisaitl every night. I don't think they have been injured at all this season. Kucherov has been shuffled around. He even played second line for a couple games. I mean, it's so incredible how talented he is. He can do it wherever. He can do it with whoever, and he can do it however. Yeah.
The other person I wanted to talk about from this last game is Darren Raddysh. Another great game for him. And I think particularly on defense as well. Darren Raddysh, he's a guy, speaking of getting better and better every week, I mean, he's firmly, cemented in that number one defender role right now. 2 points for him last night, and I thought a couple of really good defensive plays as well, Greg.
Yeah, I think we're on the midway mark of the second, or maybe a little earlier than that. But he had a one-on-one with someone and absolutely shut the door, man. He didn't even let him get through the blue line, barely. And he took the body, got rid of the puck. Just defensively, he has looked so good. And I know we've kind of harped on how great his offense has improved, but defensively, I think he deserves a round of applause. I'm going to give it to him because this game in particular, I really noticed him on defense. I did. And not that I haven't in the last few weeks, but I think last night he had a few plays where I said, wow, this is a Raddysh I've never seen. And you're right. I think he is solidified as number one on the Lightning.
Yeah, a lot of big day for a round of applauses in this game.
Oh yeah, I mean they all deserve it, man. This was a great game. I think, like you had mentioned earlier in the show, there's really not much to complain about here.
And that's kind of another big last takeaway that I want to make for this game is we said that the Flyers, a lot of their MO is making games sloppy, and not in a negative way. I just mean like they're a team that likes to kill offensive chances. They make it really hard to break into the zone. Their defense is really stout. They don't let a lot of big chances through per game. And so with the Flyers already playing him a couple days ago and, the Lightning winning that game big, I kind of went in thinking this was going to be more of a slog. This was going to be more of a game in which the Lightning had to overcome, a lot of turnovers, maybe a sloppy play, maybe some slow start, and they never really did. In fact, I think in terms of possession, they actually did better this game than their 7-2 win. a couple days ago. You know, they were clean. They didn't make any dumb mistakes. They were smart with the puck. Only 9 giveaways in this game, which is well below league average for the season. And I think that is something about this team too, is you and I both expected like this is going to be closer. This is going to be a little bit tighter. And here we go with the Lightning playing even better than they did that first game. And I think that's a credit to where this team is right now.
Yeah, completely agree with you. I thought this game was one of the best in the last few weeks even. And no complaints from me outside of this point injury and, maybe the dot. And other than those two things, remarkable win all around. I thought defensively they played well. Offensively, obviously they played well. 10 straight wins. Cooch on a continued streak. And let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that there's maybe some good news on the way for Brayden Point. Obviously tonight, Lightning taking on Pittsburgh Penguins. Can they make it 11 in a row? Penguins have been a weird team this season, but Sidney Crosby, never know what can happen when 87 is on the ice. So tomorrow, recap of the Penguins game, and hopefully we'll know a little bit more about the Brayden Point situation as well. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening in on your favorite podcasting platform. It lets you guys know when we have new content out for you and helps us out a little bit with our numbers as well. You can also keep tabs on us on social media, Locked on Lightning on Instagram, TikTok, pretty much anywhere you scroll, we're on there. That's going to do it for us on today's Locked on Lightning. Thanks for making this your first listen of the day. Back tomorrow with a new episode. We'll see you then.